Ciampa returns, title shots are earned, and Pete Dunne gets burned. This is NXT.
Well, that didn't work again.
Yeah, it didn't work.
It's okay. We'll get the intro in there sometime. In the meantime, welcome to What's NXT for October 16th, 2019. I'm your host, the Rated R reviewer, Stephen Osborne, joined as always by the General, Jerry Slaughter.
Good morning, wrestling fans.
And today's episode, yesterday's episode, whatever you want to call it, was pretty good. It was supposed to be amazing, though. Like, we were so hyped for this show, and it wasn't exactly what we thought it was going to be. However, it was pretty good.
We got everything we wanted. I guess you can say match-wise, but results-wise, it's kind of shocking. So,
my biggest problem with this show was we were promised the main event of Dominik Dijakovic versus Keith Lee, and we didn't get that as the main event. It was more like a main event of the first hour.
Yeah, they did it kind of like the Nitro way. They used to have two separate main events for their shows. They always have one closing out the first hour, and then they have something else going on the second hour.
Yeah, that's really what you want. You want an exciting match to close out the first hour and to carry on into the second hour to keep people from turning off to a different show.
You don't really want to call it the main event, though, because it's misleading.
Yeah, they told us that last week it was going to be the main event. For us, that is the final match of the 2-hour show, and I was so looking forward to rating that sumbitch. I'm kind of glad I didn't. Wasn't exactly the caliber match that we've seen the first 3 times out of these two. It's a very different match, and I think it was because of the commercial break.
Yeah, those commercial breaks, plus it was the fact that, there other elements were added into the match that caused the outcome to go way off course of what we thought we were going to get. So,
but it didn't sully the match necessarily, though, because, well, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We start off the show with a brand new intro / opening.
And I love it. You get mostly black and white, but you get splashes of color here and there. You have all the different superstars that they have all popping up. Nobody chanting along with the song, which is good.
And you've got some graphics and shit, some different filters, like the, not old, but the newest one, until this one, was better because they got rid of that synchronized "We Are Not Your Kind" rally with all the super, like, they got rid of that and just had clips of everybody, but it was still really bland.
Yeah.
It is no longer bland.
This one had splashes of color. This one had high spots, low spots, whole bunch of cool shots of everybody. This is something they should keep around for at least maybe 2 more weeks.
Well, it was better. So, our first match, believe it or not, is the returning Tommaso Ciampa.
Yep.
And he is facing Angel Garza, and this was kind of a quick match.
Yep.
Not going to lie.
It was basically a welcome home match is what it was. And you can tell that Ciampa is still kind of guarding himself a lot more in this match, or that's what I at least saw the whole thing. So, but yeah, Angel Garza comes out and he's doing his whole swarmy Mexican thing, and Ciampa seems totally unimpressed. Which is weird, because I figured Garza would have come out first and then, Ciampa. But
no, you start the show with Ciampa's music, man. That's you're not going to go from Angel Garza to Ciampa. You're going to start the show with Ciampa.
But yeah, you're getting Garza versus Ciampa, though, so it's like that just hypes you up even more.
Different views, folks.
Yep, different views. That's what we do.
This, like I said, was relatively quick for a Ciampa match, but then again, I mean, it was somewhere between a match and a squash.
But you're also saying it over and over again, during the match. 7 months.
7 months. It's only been 7 months. Like, Edge was out for a fucking year with that same injury, or that same surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like it's too soon, man. It's just, it's scary. Like, Edge eventually had to retire. Like, is he pushing things here?
I think he is. I think he's just trying to get while getting's good and realizes his time in wrestling is almost up.
If
So,
he's cleared, he's cleared.
hmm
The good news here is he no longer has to come out with the leg brace on.
oh yeah.
So that's cool.
Well, I
That
was about to
7 months
say,
off helped work
I was
through
about to
that.
say, if you're gonna be paralyzed, you might as well go all out with it.
Noah Foster agrees with our assessment of the intro. Great intro. We are NXT. He says, "Have a great review, guys. Back to work for me." Well, enjoy your work.
Yeah, enjoy
Yeah,
your
we just
work
got
day,
off work.
Noah. 205 Lives Matter.
And the Cleaver calling Andrew is here. He says, "Hey, dudes,
What's
what up,
going
bro?"
on, Cleve?
Uh, my notes for this match are basically the ending, where Garza kind of feels like he's got the upper hand, so this is where he takes his tights off, and then he throws him at Ciampa, and that incites Ciampa,
Yeah.
who beats the hell out of Garza, throws him out of the ring, and then starts beating the hell out of the
He
tights.
proceeds to beat the living shit out of the Titans.
And then Garza goes to get back in the ring, and he throws the tights in Garza's face, and then uses the distraction. I think he hits him with a knee and then drops him with the draping DDT.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Ciampa wins. Of course, Ciampa wins, but there you go. Ciampa wins.
He was beating on those pants like Ric Flair used to kill his jacket.
Yes. This isn't the end of the match, really, though. We have some aftermatch, the segment. And Undisputed Era come out. And they surround the ring, and Ciampa gets out the chair, sits down, and he's got his crutch with him. And he looks like he's about to have to fend the ring off. But instead, Kyle O'Reilly goes over to the announcer's desk while everybody else sort of surrounds the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And throws a USB stick at Mauro Ranallo. And he says, "Have a look at this." And they send it back to the truck. And up next, we get to actually look at what's on the USB drive, and it's a video post beatdown of Velveteen Dream.
I thought it was going to be something completely different. I thought it was going to be him, like, Ciampa, like, forging some sort of doctor's note saying that he's cleared to wrestle, or doctors medically advising him not to go back into the ring. But then they take the focus completely off Ciampa at the height of his celebration of his return, and put it on Prone Velveteen Dream. It kind of like killed the moment for me a little bit. It's like, and now for something completely different. But it all comes back to the point where they're saying it doesn't matter if it's Finn Balor, it doesn't matter if it's Ciampa, they're going to get laid out just like the Velveteen Dream did.
And I think the Velveteen Dream might actually be injured here because they didn't show a beatdown. They could have recorded a 3-on-1 beatdown, like Kyle O'Reilly just sitting there,
Yeah.
gagging at the camera. But no, they show post beatdown where Velveteen Dream is laid out and Roderick Strong's shirt's torn and obviously he's been in a fight. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
A little suspicious, but anyway, this is going to remove Velveteen Dream from the North American Championship match next week.
Mm-hmm.
So they got done what they were trying to get done here.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what we see from the video. Our second match of the night, I'm sorry, is a tag match. We've got Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, and we're like, who the fuck could they be facing?
Yeah. And our answer is like brought to us by Symphony Number 9.
Oh man,
Eigner and Bartel.
so far, what a show!
Yeah, absolutely.
What a show! This was a classic for Eigner and Bartel, kind of for Lorcan and Burch too. They didn't look bad, but it's mostly because they were in the ring with Eigner and Bartel.
Well, this was definitely a showcase match for both teams, and you got to see what makes them both great. Like, lately it seems like Burch and Lorcan have hit kind of a slump, and their matches haven't been nearly as entertaining together. And I think it's because they had turned down their intensity. Plus, they're focusing more on singles competition than anything else. But now they're back together and all fired up and everything. And Eichner and Bartel, they've got the brand new spirit anyway because of being an Imperium. They have that feeling of superiority and everything else going for them, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But they actually rained down on that, and even with Alexander Wolf on the outside of the ring, they didn't even need him. They just put on a wrestling clinic. All four men did. It was fantastic.
Yeah, the question of the match was, is Alexander Wolf going to get involved? Because he came out. Walter didn't come out with him, but Alexander Wolf did. And what I liked here at the very beginning of the entrance is when the names came up with Imperium above them on the Tron, it was only the names of the three people that were coming out.
Yes.
We have seen Walter come out so many times with all four names underneath Imperium, and I'm like, where are the other guys? We've seen combinations of them come out with all four names underneath the Imperium, and we're like, where are the other guys?
Yep.
Somebody's been listening to us because they got rid of the other guy.
Yep. I hope they do that from here on in.
Yeah. I would say
it doesn't really take much to make an individual Titantron for the eyes from Imperium. I mean, seriously. Delete the other names. Center the bottom one.
Yeah.
The end.
It doesn't move, nothing. It's just white on a black background. It's all, just type it. So that was great. The match itself was very high-paced.
Yeah.
A lot of just sick, like, strikes and headbutts. And
a lot of European uppercuts. A lot of running ones.
We got to see damn near all of Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel's tag team moveset.
Yeah.
The only thing we didn't get to see, I think, is the lawn dart off the middle or top rope into the vertical suplex.
We haven't seen that in a while, though. I think that became a little too difficult to calculate. Plus, they're actually going against heavier guys lately.
Yeah, that's true. In this case, I mean, just the double basement drop kick with the dude draped in the corner.
And now the pose afterwards. They added in a pose.
I didn't even make a note for that. I didn't make a whole lot of notes for this, but
it was too entertaining to stop watching. Yeah. You had everything else going, but then you had the sequence right at the end, and that was the beautiful part.
My first note was a near fall from just Eichner, because we saw Marcel Bartel do a suicide dive to the outside and inside up on the apron. Fabian Eichner just jumps on the top rope in the corner, jumps over to the other top rope, and does a moonsault, and this close.
The double jump moonsault out of a guy his size is just impressive. Like, at one point, he actually went down to 205 just to partake in the Cruiserweight Classic. Then he bulked back up afterwards.
Or he just remained 210 and they said he was 205.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Either way, it's like he put on lighter boots. Whatever, but...
I'll check it out, bro. Israel Diaz is in the chat room, I believe, for the first time. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Okay, so the one tag team move we haven't mentioned is the, what do you call it, the spine buster into the penalty kick.
Yeah.
This went right into the finisher. After the penalty kick, I think it was Birch rolled backwards and got up basically to be dragged into the power bomb with the European uppercut off the middle rope. 1, 2, 3. Imperium wins, of course.
Beautiful finish.
And then Wolf now comes into the ring and, they do the pose. Just brilliant looking.
Well, their whole intro now is just so in sync and so synchronized and everything.
Crisp.
Yes, it is.
So crispy.
Yes. They are the Cobra Kai of NXT.
So after this match, we've got a video package for Johnny Gargano, sort of a promo. This just leads into an interview with Johnny Gargano. Kathy Kelly's in the back, and she's asking him what he thinks about Ciampa's return. He's like, he doesn't really know. He doesn't think he's going to know until he sees Ciampa face to face.
Alright, so people in the chat room, we're going to pose this question to you.
All 4 of you.
Do you think that's going to lead to a Gargano heel turn? I think it's going to. I think that's what they're pushing towards until Ciampa got injured, that he was going to be the heel this time around in the last part of their feud, but who knows? I think it's what's going to end up happening is I think we're going to get a heel Gargano out of this whole deal.
Possibly. They were going there before Ciampa got injured. Shout out to the This Guy Experience, a new member to the chat room. How's it going?
Yeah.
I think I think either I'm really just done with Ciampa versus Gargano because they basically finished it, and it's been a while. It's been 7 months. I'm not sure that I want to see them go back there, but if they are going to, I want to see a slow build and take it on into January or even WrestleMania.
I think Gargano's going to tell him that he should have pushed his head harder into that screen and stuff like that. Just like build up on when Ciampa tried to turn on Gargano again at the end of the Dusty Rhodes Classic before he went out.
Yeah, maybe we'll see Gargano turn on Ciampa.
Yep.
Throw him into the Tron.
Yep.
Who knows? Third match of the night, women's match, Io Shirai versus Kaden Carter. Of course, Io Shirai with her badass new entrance.
Yeah.
And personality. And look. She looks so hot.
Yep.
As a heel, man.
She's doing a fantastic job. Even the fans love her at this point. They're just eating it up. They might as well just abandon all hope. They've actually turned Io Shirai into the cool heel without even really trying.
Yeah. She looked great in this match, but so did Kaden Carter. She's very athletic. She had a lot of cool moves, but my first note is just basically the end of the match. Io Shirai, I think she reverses something and she hits a German suplex just onto the top of Caden's head.
Oh, that was the end of it.
And then somehow gets her horizontal to the corner and does her moonsault, which is more like a diving moonsault because she doesn't get a lot of air. She just dives back.
It was a kamikaze one, more or less. It could have gone very, very wrong, but it didn't.
She gets the 1, 2, 3, grabs a mic, and says very simply, "Not Rhea, not Bianca, Shayna, me." Her best English she could do tonight.
Yep.
I mean, it says what she means to say. She should be the next contender, and I'm like, bitch, you had 2 tries at Shayna Baszler.
Yep.
And you couldn't get it done.
But she has a new outfit now and a new outlook on life.
This is true, but heel versus heel just isn't right unless we're looking at a multiple woman match.
I'm starting to think we're going to get a fatal 4-way.
Well, this brings out Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
And I always love hearing that music because I know what's coming.
Oh, I just love the fact that we were getting Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai in the ring together. I'm like, oh, this is going to happen.
This is my brutality.
Yep.
So she comes down to the ring and snatches the mic from Io Shirai. And she says,
last week, Bianca Belair continued to run her mouth, so next week I'm going to shut it for her. But if my name comes out of your mouth one more time, I'm going to do the same to you.
Yeah, she says, if you spit my name again, I'm coming for you. It's
something along that line.
Something like that, yeah.
I'll
shut you up, too, that's what she says.
Yeah, I'm going to... And then Io Shirai goes off with some Japanese tangent and leaves the ring.
But the news here is we're going to get the match. Bianca Belair versus... Rhea Ripley next week. Another reason to look forward to next week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. This week, though, they're going to recap Killian Dane attacking Boa after his loss to Cameron Grimes with the insta-finisher last week. This is going to be a match tonight. Not a great match, but it was all right. We'll get there, though. This is just reminding you of what the fuck happened last week.
Yeah.
And taking you into a Boa promo that he cuts completely in Chinese. You have no idea what he's saying. He's punching at the camera.
I can't get into Boa. I tried to. His Titantron's cool.
I was kind of hoping we were going to see Killian Dane attack him during the promo. That way we wouldn't have to see this match tonight. But, spoiler, we did have to see this match.
It was filler. That's all you can really say about that.
Also, speaking of next week, we get an interview with William Regal. This is updating us on the condition of Velveteen Dream after that beatdown. And Regal says he is not going to be cleared to compete next week in the North American Championship match. But Roderick Strong will still defend the title, and he will now defend the title against the winner of what was supposed to be our main event, Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic, but is now coming up next.
Maybe Velveteen Dream's actually just getting written off NXT television for a call-up.
I think if he was going to get called up, it would have happened in the draft.
Yeah. Even then, we didn't get any NXT call-up to the draft, so...
Maybe they're making that a different thing then, who knows. But, yeah, Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic. This is next, and it had a commercial break. Now, they had the picture-in-picture, but they really did slow the match down. I think the only move I saw in there that I would have written down, but I didn't, was Dijakovic actually hit that tossing vertical suplex.
Yeah.
But
otherwise, it was more kind of a sleeper hold kind of moment. And it was kind of to be expected because these are two bigger guys, and like they've gone at it so many times. There's only so many different spots we can see right now. They still managed to wow us in some way, shape, or form in each match.
There's one.
Yep. In some way, shape, or form.
There's
yep.
two.
There's two.
So, the story of this match is Keith Lee working over Dominik Dijakovic's left arm.
Mm-hmm.
He starts out with one of those lifts, just wrist and armpit.
Wrist clutch, yeah.
And then he ends up drops him down and hits a splash onto his left arm. And then just takes it from there. I mean, the whole match, at some point or another, he is working on that left arm. And it starts to show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Dijakovic can't hit a lot of his power moves with his left arm. Like, he goes to punch Keith Lee at one point, and Keith Lee blocks it. When he hits that left arm, you can just tell, like, this is the story of the match. And sure enough, towards the end, it ends up really costing Dijakovic. He tries to go for that, what does he call it? His finisher, the Feast Your Eyes.
Yep.
But he can't use that arm to get Keith Lee over his other shoulder.
Yep.
But before I break down the match with a few of my spot notes, actually, no, I have more than a few, but what were your thoughts?
I was really gunning for a bigger finish with this match, but at the same time, I kind of knew what direction they were going to go. This was a little bit of foreshadowing that we got before the match with William Regal. Because I was thinking in my head, I'm like, we discussed this at one point. That the fact that both Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic both deserve to be like in a North American title picture.
Yeah.
So, for this to happen, or for it to be made into like a number one contenders match for the North American belt, that sounded feasible to me. I was like, all right. But the ending, and yeah, that was uncalled for. But at the same time, now we have something even bigger to look for next week.
So let me just hit some of these spots. We've got Dijakovic countering a power slam by choking Keith Lee, sliding down his back, and turning it into a sit-out choke bomb for a near fall. That was sweet. Haven't seen that yet. Let's see. Lee hits a middle rope frog splash onto Dijakovic's left arm. Again, working on that fucking arm.
Yep.
Hits a sit-out power bomb, but Dijakovic rolls outside. And then back in the ring, we had Lee go for a vertical suplex, and Dijakovic is trying to block, and Lee ends up lifting him dead weight 3 times before finally hitting the vertical suplex. Gets a near fall. Keith Lee goes up the ropes, like for a moonsault. He gets halfway up, and Dijakovic catches him on the middle rope with a super kick.
Gets him in the electric chair.
Yeah, because he can't set up for the Feast Your Eyes.
Yep.
He tries like 2 or 3 times, but his arm won't let him. So instead, he picks him up for an electric chair, and I called it as soon as he did it. Because what was that? A possible general rule number umpteenth? Like, do not try to do an electric chair anything to anybody in NXT, because everybody's going to drop you with an inverted Rana spike pile driver, and that's exactly what happened. And wow, that looked brutal.
Yep. Guys that size aren't supposed to flip that way. They're
Keith
just
Lee
not.
didn't even flip. He just lowered his back.
Yeah.
He just dead weighted it, and then Dijakovic did it back. Oh, just wow. Woo!
It looked great though.
I mean, some of this match was pretty sweet.
That's
including that
what I
one.
like about the two of them. They turn the most basic of maneuvers, or ones that these guys are maybe half their size do. They make it even look easy for them as well. And that's what's just so impressive about two of them, I think.
Well, Keith Lee gets a near fall here, and so his next move, he goes to climb the ropes again, this time facing outward, and Dijakovic catches him. Tries to set him up for a superplex. Can't do it, especially with that arm. So instead, he goes for a Frankensteiner, and Keith Lee catches him. And before he can do anything, like let's say lift him up and powerbomb him for an avalanche powerbomb, Roderick Strong hits the ring with title in hand and smacks Keith Lee in the face with the North American Championship. And then after he drops Dijakovic, Roderick, I think he comes off the ropes, but I'm not sure they didn't show that part. I just saw him hit Dijakovic with a running knee.
Yeah.
And disqualification. I don't know.
Match just got thrown out, is what it was.
Yeah, I don't know if Dijakovic would get disqualified because Roderick Strong hit Keith Lee first, or I mean, he's not really on his I don't know.
I think the referee just decided, played it by ear. Saw he also attacked him and knew Roderick Strong was being a dick, so they just made another no contest.
They went into this match 1-1-1. Now they're 1-1-1.
Yeah.
This is getting to be ridiculous.
It's turning into Wadsworth Bullets count at the end of the Clue.
up on that new NXT Full Sail University perch that they have built up over the ring, or overlooking the ring. There's William Regal.
Which I attest that should be William Regal's office from here on in.
We never get to see his office. Mine as well.
Yep.
He's up there and he says, nice try, Roderick, but you're still going to defend your title, only now it's going to be in a triple threat match against both of those guys next week on NXT, and fuck, I can't wait for that.
That is going to be excellent.
But let me tell you, they put the graphic up towards the end of the show, reminding us of what all's going on next week. I'm like, Roderick Strong kind of looks like the odd man out here. Yeah, I mean, it's just, as much as I like watching him in the ring, I'd rather just see Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic 5. Honestly,
he's definitely going to have Fish and O'Reilly out there with him.
For a second, I thought you were saying Fish and Chips. Why would I think that?
I don't know. Fish and Chips does sound good though.
He might have all of Undisputed Era
out there. I doubt Cole will be out there.
Well, after the commercial break, we get to see all of Undisputed Era again. This time, they're bitching to William Regal as he's coming through the curtain, and he no-sells it. He walks right by him and heads out the back door. I guess he's gone for the night, which is weird because we're halfway through the fucking live show, but whatever. We know Triple H is in control.
Yep.
Up next, we've got Matt Riddle, and he is facing Bronson Reed.
Something I thought was really interesting because I couldn't understand why we were getting Bronson Reed versus Matt Riddle.
I know, because
but there's madness, it seems like, because this match turned out to be pretty damn good.
And we just saw Matt Riddle defeat Killian Dane, so it's not like he needs to face a guy the size of Bronson Reed to prove anything.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, like you said, this ended up being a pretty good match. There was a lot of quick-paced stuff that you wouldn't expect out of Bronson Reed. A lot of the strikes that I was hoping to see in his matches in the breakout tournament, he looked pretty good. Just Riddle looked better. Fucking picked him up and hit a bro to sleep.
This is one of those moments where I still think somebody from WWE is watching us. Because we've been very down on Bronson Reed, saying it's like there's really nothing to the guy. He looks like almost like a Australian tan version of Dave Mastiff. Right down to red and black tights, right down to his entrance where he actually stomps his foot on
The ring
the
steps
steps, the ring steps,
and the
and
camera shakes.
camera shakes and everything. It's like, ooh, we've seen this before. But him and Matt Riddle actually put on a very good match. There was lots of shows of strength. There was vast amounts of suplexes and throws and kicks and strikes, and it was just a brutal match. But it was a brutal match with respect. They did a handshake prior and a fist bump at the end, and no funky finish, no nothing. It was just a straight up great match.
Yeah, we saw Riddle go for the Broton, missed, or hit the knees. He hit the knees.
He hit the knees.
And then immediately Bronson comes off the ropes and hits just a flat senton splash onto Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
Shows him how it's done. Must have squashed the shit out of Riddle. Like when Riddle hits it, he kind of rolls forward. Bronson just landed on him. Flat.
Bronson turned into like one of those outtakes from Free Willy where he doesn't make it all the way across the rocks.
Oh.
He just landed that fucking hard.
You know
on
how many
Riddle.
willies they had to go through. Okay, anyway. So I've
There's a
got
porn
some
joke
notes
in there
here.
somewhere. I'm not
I've got
sure
some
where.
notes here. After that bro to sleep I talked about,
Yeah.
it's a power bomb. Power bomb onto Bronson Reed with that roll through into the high knee, gets a near fall.
Yeah.
I mean Matt Riddle goes for a whisper in the wind off the top rope. That, what does he call it? The
Floating bro.
The floating bro.
I
But
hate
Bronson
that.
gets up and sort of catches him midair, but lands a sit out power bomb for a near fall.
He fell in style like Buzz Lightyear.
But Riddle ends up catching Reed, who's trying to like pop over Riddle running into the corner. He catches him up under the gut and turns him around into what he calls the Bro Derrick, which is an inverted neutralizer.
Yeah.
Like it looks like he's setting up for a tombstone,
It looks like.
but then he comes through the legs.
I'm about to say, it looks like he's going for like the. Almost like an inverted cradle pile driver is what it looks like.
It looks just like a neutralizer, only
Yeah.
upside down. So 1, 2, 3. Matt Riddle has got another finishing move.
Yeah.
This dude is just evolving before our eyes.
What was that a nod to his former company? I think it was.
It was a nod to last week or the week before when we talked about how amazing it was that we didn't like Matt Riddle at some point.
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible? Because I love this guy more and more every week.
He keeps on showing us more and more every week.
I've never seen that finisher before, man.
He had done it once, but he only got a near fall off of it. So, but for a guy Bronson's size, that kind of impact and everything after all the other punishment he had taken throughout the match, it's feasible that could be a finishing move.
Maybe that's why I didn't notice it quite the same the first time. That and the awful name. He needs to start renaming his moves.
Yeah.
Bro Derek. Oh my god.
He calls
Anyway.
it that because it's a perfect 10 maneuver.
Sure, whatever. Pinfall. That's the end of that match. After this, we get a video package for Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, but it's kind of also a video promo for Bianca Belair because she talks in it.
Yeah.
And again, she's talking about if you want to get to Shayna Baszler and it be in the title picture, you got to go through me. But she says nothing of the fact that she should be like. It's just she's Shayna's bodyguard. Like that's what she's become.
Yeah, she like I said this last week, she's become the gatekeeper for the women's belt. She will never win the women's title while she's there.
I would not be surprised if she ends up becoming the fourth member of the Four Horsemen of. I mean, even though she's never been in MMA, but still, just at this point, it seems like she's being paid off by Shayna.
Stranger things have happened, and she does need some muscle other than Duke and Shafir, who still have not won a match or done anything.
Well, we are going to get another women's match tonight because Tegan Knox is debuting, or they say returning, but she was only in the Mae Young Classic, so I would say an NXT debut. Tegan Knox is debuting, but before that, we get a picture of Kushida in the trainer's room. Apparently, he's got a wrist injury.
Hairline fracture.
Yeah. So he's going to be out for a little bit. And
Can't fit the watch on here right now.
who's the fodder, Jerry, for Tegan Knox's return?
Oh, that is Tainara. Same one that faced off against Dakota Kai this last time. I guess if you throw kicks and whatnot, you're gonna be going against Team Kick.
I have one note for this match, and that's the ending.
Well, I was about to say you also noted the fact that you loved her outfit because it was orange.
Well, yeah, Tainara's outfit.
You hate her belt because it looks flimsy.
She holds up her belt like she's holding up a title, but it's so small in width that it doesn't.
You had more notes like the fashion police than you actually did for the match.
Those were notes out loud. I didn't even bother writing them down. Tegan Knox wins with the shiniest wizard, and I think it should be illegal for her because she's got those leg braces on. Like,
I think it should be illegal for her because it looks shitty. It's the shittiest of wizards.
My simile to this was if Pete and Pete's mom was a wrestler, like she shouldn't be allowed to do a diving headbutt.
No.
You know, Tegan Knox shouldn't be allowed to fucking put her knee into somebody's head when she's wearing those goddamn braces.
Nope.
Like it just. Anyway.
Foreign object.
I guess it's a trade-off. You take the risk of getting kneed to the head, but you have two knees that you can work over during a match. It's just Tainara really didn't at all. After the match, though, we get Kathy Kelly coming to ringside to interview Tegan Knox about her victory. And then the aforementioned Dakota Kai comes out to congratulate her. But before Tegan Knox can say anything, Shayna Baszler's music hits.
Yep.
She comes out with Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir. And she gets on a mic, and this is the funniest I've seen Shayna Baszler ever.
Yes.
This was great.
She was actually very loose with this, very confident sounding, which you don't really see much of her. She kind of shies away from talking a lot, even when she's being ultra intense. Because I think she's got more of a comedic side than the intense side. She strikes me as one of those people that, you know, yeah, she'll kick the living shit out of you, but she'll do it with a smile. She's not going to try and come off as intimidating because she doesn't need to. So, basically, she has humor. And she got to finally showcase it. And it was great.
She comes out to basically accuse Tegan Knox of wanting to go after her and getting in the title picture. However, she says, ask your friend Dakota Kai what it's like getting in the ring with me.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she injured Dakota Kai.
Yeah, it was the last match Kai was in before she went out.
And then she says that Tegan Knox is running out of limbs to rehab.
Yep. Which was the all snap moment. Everybody in the crowd went, oh.
And she said, you know, before you think anything about me, like, do something.
It was like beat somebody.
Yeah, basically, do something that's worth noting, you know. And I think we're going to see a pattern here. Because she came back in NXT UK and won a squash match and then lost to the champ.
Yeah.
She just came back to NXT and won basically a squash match. And now she's going to lose to the champ in a non-title match.
I think that's what what we're going to get first is I think we're going to get Team Kick versus Shafir and Duke. I think we'll get that first.
Yeah, we'll see Shafir and Duke gain loss number 4.
Another loss. Yeah, another loss
or
for
5
Duke
or 7, whatever number it is. They have no wins, I don't believe.
Or maybe that'll be Duke Shafir's big win finally.
So we get a promo from Finn Balor. This is a video promo. He's spitting basically some some poetry,
some philosophical shit. If you're want to go that route.
What you want to take note of here is the last thing he says, of course, and he says next week his past becomes his future. So he is returning next week, and hopefully that means a match. They did not specify.
Here's how I think this is going to go down, because I think he's considering himself the heart of NXT, and Johnny Gargano's calling himself the heart of NXT.
Ooh.
So I'm thinking that's what's going to showcase first, that Gargano is possibly going to go heel. or it'll be a triple heart match because you have the Black Hearts of Tommaso Ciampa in there too. But I think they'll turn that into a number one contenders match for against for Adam Cole's belt. Will be Gargano versus Finn Balor.
Maybe.
I wouldn't mind that at all. I think that'd be a superb match.
So we've got 2 more matches tonight, and we already knew about these. One from earlier, that's the next match, Boa versus Killian Dane, and then our main event is going to be Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest, which we both forgot was even going to be on this show.
I'm like, I know there's something else going on here. I know there's another main event, but I just can't remember what it is. But then throughout the night, it's like, oh shit, Damian Priest, that's right, Pete and Dunne.
But before we get there, we have to get through Boa versus Killian Dane. And this was okay.
Yeah.
It was all right. It was a better match than Boa saw the last time when he got squashed with an insta finisher.
He got a lot of kicks and a lot of offense in this time around, but we all kind of knew that Killian Dane was going to win this match.
Yeah, he goes after Dane right after the bell like he's pissed, and again, like you said, lands a lot of kicks and strikes, but then Dane rolls out of the ring and he goes out the other side. But when he runs
really
around,
selling his ribs right that second, I'm like, and he's about to die.
Yeah, when he runs around the corner of the ring, Killian Dane catches him with that running crossbody. It's basically downhill from there.
Mm-hmm.
The end of the match was a senton splash from Killian Dane, and then he follows it up with triple Vader bombs. Doesn't end the match there. Instead, he puts on, I guess this is his new submission finisher. It's kind of a...
it's a sit-down abdominal stretch.
Yeah, basically.
It's like, this match ended in an abdominal stretch. How awesome is that?
And
anybody knows me outside of this YouTube video knows I'm all about the abdominal stretch.
What I found interesting about it was the initial finish. You didn't see the tap out because it was being done behind Killian Dane's back on his shoulder, and the camera wasn't positioned that way. I'm like, how does he know he's tapping out? I don't see him tapping.
Yeah.
But then they replayed the footage and they showed a different angle. And it's like, oh.
He could have just been patting him on the back saying, good game.
To me, it's a weak-looking finisher. He needs to tie up the other arm some way, somehow.
Yeah.
But
maybe have it under his knee or some crap.
It's not how I saw the match ending. I saw it ending after the triple Vader bomb, so that was all right, I guess.
That would have been cool to have referee stoppage from that and have him spit up blood.
Now, before the main event, we get one more video package. This is for Lio Rush. It is a compilation of both his cruiserweight win last week and some promo that he did afterwards.
Some celebration, if you will.
Yeah, and it's got video of him getting photographed with the title. You know, just an all-around uplifting moment for Lio Rush. But now we are on to the main event.
Yeah.
Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest, and despite the fact that I had forgotten this match was coming, and I'm disappointed that it was the main event instead of Dijakovic Lee 4, whatever it was.
It was 4.
4. This was a pretty good match.
It was a fantastic match. I actually said at the after we saw that it was going to be the main event, I'm like, they must be turning this into something really special for Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic to be more or less bumped to the middle.
Yeah, mid-card. Mid-card main event.
Mid-card main event. And Dunne and Priest did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. 3.
2 or 3. Well, the first one was a repeat. I'll call that 2. I've got a lot of notes for this match. But then again, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. It's Pete Dunne, man.
Well, even then, Priest showed us what he can do, too. Like, he actually showed why his old name was Punishment Martinez. You know, he actually did get a whole bunch of great blows in on Pete Dunne. You could tell that he had studied them pretty well before this match. He knew what to look out for. He knew the reversals to certain things. he saw that Pete Dunne has a severe weak spot that he needed to go after. Way to the end of the match, but he went after it.
What I noticed was a note that you made last week when we got introduced to the idea of this match, where you said one of the things you were missing about Pete Dunne was the ring psychology.
Yeah.
And how he liked to telegraph moves to get his opponent to do something that he then takes advantage of.
Yeah.
I saw at least one spot here. He climbs the ropes, but very slowly. He basically lures Damian Priest to climb the ropes in the ring to meet him up there, and then takes advantage. Starts kicking on that arm. And we saw two Baszler stomps here.
Yeah.
One in the ring, and then Priest goes to get out, and then he sets him up again, but instead soccer kicks his arm, and then follows him outside and sets him up on the steps and does the Baszler stomp. Jesus.
Yep.
I mean, talk about working over the arm. Holy crap. My first note of the match, though, was even before the match started. On the way down to the ring, Dunn starts having words with Killian Dane, and instead of really, like, letting it go, he reaches out and grabs Dane's hand and just snaps the fingers, and then heads to the... Before he does the shrug.
He shrugs.
And then he heads to the ring.
He's like, that's gonna probably come back to haunt me later, but you know what? Whatever.
So we see Damian Priest with his move, the Splash Mountain, which is basically a razor's edge that doesn't even look as cool.
It doesn't.
It looks very forced, near fall. But then he dives over the top rope where he jumps onto the middle rope with one leg and then trips over the top rope into a tope onto Pete Dunne on the outside. That was really cool.
Yeah. I thought that could have ended badly, but it turns out that's just the way it was supposed to look.
I think Grand Metalik does one very similar.
Yeah.
Only his is much faster. Anyway, Priest catches Pete Dunne going up top with a cyclone kick to the head, and then jumps up there for a Frankensteiner, then picks him up and choke slams him for a near fall. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yep.
What do you got to do? Dunne counters a reckoning, and then Priest counters a bitter end. Then it's time for the breakdown. They just start beating the shit out of each other. Double enziguris, trades enziguris, and then Priest goes to jump off the middle corner back into, I think, a kick, but catches a forearm to the face, and both guys go down.
Yep.
For like ever. And at this point, the crowd is just nuts. Yep. Fight forever. Both these guys, just nuts. Let's see. Priest goes for a spring off the corner. Oh, that's the forearm to the face, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Priest counters a moonsault and puts the knees up. But then he goes for the Splash Mountain again. Went to the well one too many times. If at first it does succeed, don't fucking do it again.
Yep. That's a good rule to have.
But he counters the Splash Mountain and grabs the fingers. And while he's got... and I guess that was the setup from earlier. While he's got Damian Priest by the fingers, Priest kind of runs him into the corner. And they trap Jessica, who's the poor ref at this point, in the corner. She crawls underneath him to get out. And while she's looking the other way, Damian Priest attacks that one spot that gets everybody.
The nuts. The nards.
Yeah. Dick kick.
The ball kick.
Followed by a reckoning. Followed by the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. Damian Priest beats Pete Dunne. Holy balls.
That Priest holy balls, that was
nice.
Actually pretty good. Fuck, that was actually a good pun.
So, we've got some more newcomers. Antonio Jones, what's up? We've got Unorthodox Man, how's it going? 2 sugars and I'll wake and bake. I don't know what that means. I know what the wake and bake means, but...
yeah.
And Davi, who says, some comments here, y'all setup is garbage. Well, we appreciate that. Thank God we're not trying to be professional.
Yeah.
And,
your show looks fantastic.
Yeah, your show looks awesome.
Yeah, seriously, dude. I can't fucking wait to watch it.
Yeah. So that brings us to the end of the main event. And here on What's NXT, we like to rate the main event using the General's 5-star rating system. And you always go first. Out of 5 stars, what do you rate this main event?
I go ahead and give it 3 3/4. Like, it wasn't a main event that I thought we were going to get with Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic, but the ending threw me, naturally, because I didn't expect for Damian Priest to come out on top of this one, but somebody's really high on Damian Priest at this point.
That
And,
wicked bake high, man.
And I wonder where it's going to leave Pete Dunne. Are we going to see Pete Dunne versus Killian Dane now? Because I initially thought we were going to be seeing Killian Dane attack Pete Dunne at the end of this match. But we didn't even get that. We didn't get any kind of notification or anything of that, what was going on with Pete Dunne after this match. He's probably still out in the ring for some reason, but
I would say based on the encounter, yeah, we're gonna see Pete Dunne versus Killian Dane. I don't mind that.
well, it'd be a great feud, or at least a great one-off match. But the whole match itself kept me entertained, kept going. Like, even during the commercial break, they actually did a good job keeping the pace going for the crowd, and it was just a well thought out match and very thought out, very methodical, if you will.
Yeah, I'd call it really good, not great.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna hit it at a 4-star, but I would say it's as good as good gets. So I would tend to agree, 3 3/4 stars. However, I am going to give it an extra 1/4 star coming off the back of what I consider a great show, because for the most part, this show was extremely entertaining.
I think what was more entertaining about it is the promise of what we're getting next week and the week after.
Yeah,
they have done this very, very well since they've gone live.
So I'm going to go with 4 stars.
It's something we touched on at one point. If anything, they're just getting more time to set up for more matches versus the 45-minute format where they really didn't have much time to do these video packages and a lot of these backstage promos to set up for matches within the next couple of weeks. And everything is all fresh and it's all new. There's really no spoilers going on where we're seeing stuff that happened like a month ago.
Right.
And everything's new and fresh to everybody coming to see this now. And that was one of the main problems I had going on with NXT at this point, was the fact that we were getting these matches and people were on social media and whatnot and ruining it like a month and a half in advance before we even got to see it on television.
Well, one of my biggest problems with the old format was how infrequently we would see certain people, because they tape 2-3 hours at a time, and you're not going to see the certain people come out every hour during a show. So,
but we were also 3 or 4 shows in, and we still haven't seen fucking Bugenhagen in the ring.
But we have seen Cameron Grimes like
4 times.
4 times.
Yeah.
So it's a give and take. But yeah, I'm gonna go with 4 stars.
I wouldn't mind Bugenhagen and Grimes as a team.
We could build teams all day.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end of this episode of What's NXT. Thank you for joining us. Please join us tomorrow for the NXT party, where we will be reviewing episode I believe 65
65
of NXT UK. And I don't know who's going to be on the big screen. I'm pretty sure we're going to have Colin.
Yep. I know Evan was interested. I'm not sure if he's. I'm going to follow up with that today.
That would be awesome. So hopefully we can have the Cleaver and King Francis.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
But that's to be determined. We could end up with, again,
the
a blank screen. You never know.
Or no, we'll probably have to go with the holiday worst case scenario.
The worst case.
Worst case.
Best
case.
Best
any case.
Any case scenario.
Any case scenario would be great.
Actually, best case scenario would be you guys. Somebody out there, if you would like to join us on a future episode of the NXT party, come have a spot of NXT with us.
One of you random assholes in the chat.
Help us review a future episode of NXT UK. You can find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or if you just want to look me up on Twitter, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. Cut bomb. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter
at NoDQ Journal, on my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR.
Exclamation point.
Join us there for memes, discussions, and whatnot. Don't try us on Facebook as friends, because we're not going to have you.
Yeah, Facebook is spoiler free zone. So add us on Twitter. Add me on Instagram at osborne.stefan, where I have no content, but like 50 some subscribers, and that's
Granted, they can't really
pretty
spoil NXT for us now. Actually, they probably could since we don't get to see it until shortly after our shift.
exactly. Most of the things that we watch, except Friday Night SmackDown now, are after the fact.
Yep.
That's why initially I named the channel Aftermatch Wrestling. It's because I always watch the shows later because my schedule.
Oh, I thought it was just clever.
Well, that too. You know,
thank you for ruining it.
pretty clever guy there. But yeah, that's the reason I named it Aftermatch. Anyway, so find us on Twitter, Facebook and Armbar, Instagram. If you don't have any of those, you can leave us a message down in the comments section and give us your email address. We'll find you.
Yeah.
All you need is Skype and watch NXT UK, and there you go. So if you like our video, click the like button that's over here underneath me. And if you like all of our videos, do yourself a favor. Click that subscribe button over there underneath Jerry. And somewhere in the middle is a share button. Share this show and help us get our following up on Aftermatch Wrestling. That's all one word, AFTERMATCH, Aftermatch Wrestling. That's where the NXT party goes first and in HD. And when we hit 250 subscribers, we are at like 118. When we hit 250, we are going to start going live with the NXT party on Aftermatch Wrestling.
Yep.
Once we figure out how to do that. So help us get there.
We're still figuring out the bells and whistles, folks.
Help us get to 1,000 subscribers, and we are going to give out a free Clue board game.
Yeah.
To somebody.
Ooh.
So whether you're watching us on NoDQ, whether you're watching us on Aftermatch, click that subscribe button and click that bell icon because that will let you know when we go live. We didn't expect to go live for the first episode of What's NXT Live.
Mm-mm. And we
just had to do it.
It just happened.
Just had to do it. So you never know. We could get, like 130 some subscribers overnight. 132 subscribers overnight. You never know. It could happen. It could go viral. Something stupid that I said could go viral. And we would have to do the NXT party live tomorrow.
Yeah.
You never know. So click that bell icon. And I think that's all the plugs, so let's get to questions. Does anybody have questions for us?
No, probably just a bunch of random comments.
So far. I don't see any questions. So, for the General, Jerry Slaughter, I am the Wizard of NoDQ, Stefan Osborne. Thank you for having a spot of NXT with us, and we will see you NXT time.